But once you start to see how the culture seeps into people's subconscious, they start to really like lose their own volition, their own power, and they're basically working on behalf of this energetic system.
I kind of visualize it the way you describe that as when you see a flock of birds and they all kind of whoosh in the same rhythm. You're like, wow, how do they do that? To get like just down and practical, you've mentioned the word pendulums a few times, and a lot of our listeners, they're high agency, entrepreneurial, very logical approaching, white knuckling their goals into reality. What is a pendulum? What are we talking about with these energies that attract our attention, and how we internalize them and how they can really operate to our detriment?
Yeah, really good question. I probably should have let off with that. That's it. But that's the thing about it, like, right? Like these are like self-organizing energetic systems, and the way that energy moves. Once I learned about this is one of the things that this is why I've been like an ambassador for this book for as long as I have, because just that alone changed my life. And there's a lot of other concepts in the book too, but just the concept of this idea of pendulums. So when it comes to energy basically is clustering, and it's growing based on people's attention. So whatever it is that people are paying attention to, like we're basically validating or giving it energy through our attention. So if we all are focusing on something together, and there are a lot of great examples of this. Let's think of a sports team. Let's think of a political party. Let's think of a corporate culture, like that might help. And so everyone kind of takes on the attributes of whatever like that culture is, right? And so they start to act on behalf of the group think, and they start to take on those attributes. So now they're basically working on behalf of the pendulum and not necessarily their own interests. And there's nothing wrong with being part of a group and working together and all those things. But once you start to see how the culture seeps into people's subconscious at a psyche level, where they just start doing things and they start to lose their own identity and their own agency as a result of being part of this larger system or structure, now they start to really like lose their own volition, their own power, and they're basically working on behalf of this energetic system. An energetic system is fed with attention, positive or negative. That's why I really like the pendulum analogy, because it really shows that no matter how you're paying attention, whether you hate the thing and you fight against it, or you're pro the thing and you're going for it, you're adding energy to it with your attention. So whatever it is that we focus on, there's a saying in the esoteric, what you focus on expands, where attention goes, energy flows. If we were to take this to a level of like a football game, that you've got the team that runs out, the home team, everybody's cheering positive energy. They're stoked, they're like hyping them up. The guys are on the sidelines, they're excited. And then the away team comes out. Well, and then they just boo the away team. They get the away team though. They're like, yeah, we're Darth Vader. We're like dark side. We're the bad guys in this game. And they're taking on all that energy. And so they're feeling that, and they're actually being influenced and feeling the energy at like a real level. And so if you wanted to freak out the away team, what you would do is just the whole stadium would be silent. Freakiest thing. If everyone in the home, on the home team was like, and they just kind of like shut them off, there wouldn't be any energy for them to feed off. So you can kind of, as a phenomenon, like through sports. And people start to identify with things that are outside of themselves so much at a certain point during their life and their development that they start to really lose their own identity. And that happened to me. I'm like, I'm a rock star. Rock stars do this. They drink whiskey. They smoke 10 packs of cigarettes a day and smoke weed or whatever, right? Like that's what we do, right? And so like that whole like identity, I guess, is formed through the connection and the adherence to that pendulum, to that energetic structure. So whatever somebody believes that they are, they start to embody the characteristics of that thing. And there's a real energy that's going on between the person and the idea itself, because as we focus on it, we start to really lock in with it. And then there's more people, and then more people and more people. And then you start to see flash mobs, or you start to see protests, or people doing things out of that they would never do. They see red and they start to do things that they would never do by themselves, but because they're being influenced. There's another book too that like Gustave Le Bon, old French book called The Crowd. And he talks about this exact idea like back in like the 17 or 1800s, which is crazy. So like this is definitely a phenomenon that's been perceived, and it's happening on an energetic level. We can't necessarily see or perceive of the energy itself, but we do see the expression of it. And so when he talks about pendulums, that's what he's expressing. He's saying, look, there are these structures in place, and we basically become beholden to these structures. It's basically how the matrix is created around us. And so the more that we identify with it, the more that we kind of like lose who we truly are. And the kind of goal of the book is to get back to our authentic expression, to be our real raw selves and to find our true goal. And that may be, expressed in a group, that of course, but once you see this phenomenon, then you're not nearly as manipulated by the groups and sucked into groupthink and those dynamics.